very existence of this country was founded on violence, hate, and racism, with the near annihilation of my Native brothers and sisters. My ancestors, brought to America through the slave trade, were the first currency of America. Let me say that again for the people in the back. My ancestors, the first currency of America, were stripped of their heritage and culture, separated from their families, bargained for on auction blocks, sold, beaten, raped, and lynched. Yet I continuously hear after every mass shooting that this is not who we are as Americans and as a nation. Hear me clearly. This is exactly who we are.
And this must be the part where I get canceled. So let me get this straight. If this is exactly who we are, remember, George Floyd and all the other stuff that happened during the pandemic and the riots and, COVID and black gun ownership just increasing, skyrocketing because of all of this, fuck around and find out, and we're not going to sit here and take it anymore. We're going to stand up and fight for our rights and stuff like that. So, great alliteration on, the history of racism and violence in America and in this country. And so, two things can be mutually exclusive. We can sit there and say that we feel the pain and suffering for you as a mother having to tend to your son's wounds because of a violent criminal who did something that was absolutely abhorrent to your son. No children should have to go through that. No human being should have to go through that. But isn't that the antithesis of the actions that black people took to gather guns to, defend our freedoms, in essence, the right to exist in this country as a black American, African American, whatever you choose to describe yourself? Isn't that the antithesis of that very expression of the right to coexist and to defend ourselves against those who seek to wipe our existence off the face of the planet, than to make such a statement, which is actually true, about Americans being founded, or America being founded in violence, and that being exactly who we are, and then make a statement in support of getting rid of the firearms that could keep our existence and keep our freedoms intact? It is a tragedy having to hear about what your son went through. But two things can be mutually exclusive. That one, we can say that what happened to your son was totally unjustified, uncalled for, and that criminal deserves to be locked up and never see the light of day as a free citizen in these United States. And we can also say that your statement, while true, proves the very reason why, if anyone, African Americans or Black Americans or whatever we choose to align ourselves with or call ourselves in these United States, why we need to maintain whatever tools we are allowed to have to keep the very freedoms that our ancestors fought and died for. They fought and died in various wars, in this country, in various wars, in the civil rights movement. We can call those wars too, because a lot of people fought and died knowing that they were going to die for us to have the very freedoms that we benefit from now. And I just can't believe that you, as a Black woman, are being used as a tool to disarm the Black community. Of course you don't see it. You don't fully understand the implications that come with your use. You're just following instructions. But man, I find that rather interesting, that while you were making some very true statements in this clip that I just, segregated from the rest of your speech, that you are not recognizing that if they take those tools away, right, that allows us to be able to exercise our Second Amendment rights, to express that freedom, the right to coexist, so that we don't get put in, systems of slavery or find ourselves subjugated, or underneath the whip, if you will. And it's a tragedy that your son's trauma is being used as a tool to their ends.